Hi and welcome. My name is Tina, also known as Blooming Knitter, and this is Knitting Blooms. Merry Christmas Eve to all of you. Yes, I am recording this episode on Christmas Eve. I actually have the day off, so I thought I would go ahead and record the podcast because tomorrow I'm probably going to be in my Christmas pajamas all day. And I wanted to just kind of take a moment and share a bit of my Christmas with you guys. So I will start by letting you know what we are planning on doing for Christmas. You won't see this until after Christmas, but I thought it would be fun to share my Christmas traditions and what I like to do on Christmas with you guys. So, first and foremost, I am the biggest kid at Christmas time. Ever since I was a small child, I have loved Christmas. And it wasn't necessarily about the presents and all of that, but I just love this time of year. It's a great time of year for giving. I think I enjoy giving people presents more than receiving them. And seeing their expressions and whatnot when they open them. I just love that. I love to be able to know somebody well enough to be able to give them something that they will enjoy. But as a little kid, my favorite part about Christmas was waking up on Christmas morning and seeing the presents under the tree. And I am still like that. When I was little, I would get up at like 4:30 in the morning or something thereabout, and to go down and look to see, oh, was Santa here? And it was just so much fun to go down and see the lights on the tree, because my mom would always leave the lights on the tree turned on overnight, so that when we did get up in the middle of the night, we would have kind of like a little bit of light going on by the Christmas tree, and we could walk down and see all the presents under the tree. And we were never allowed to open anything before my parents got up, but we could see the presents under the tree. We were allowed to open our stockings, and that was very exciting. And even to this day, I will not let Steve put the presents under the tree until after I go to bed. Now, I will put his presents under the tree, but I will not let him put my presents under the tree until after he goes to bed. So we don't put the presents under the tree and leave them under there. One year, I think we did put the presents under the tree. You know, as we wrapped them, we just put the presents under the tree. But it kind of ruined the surprise for me on Christmas morning. And I know it's not like we get that many presents, you know, now that we're older. Presents are usually a little bit more expensive, but it's still fun to get up in the morning and see the presents under the tree and be excited about Christmas morning. So yeah, I am definitely a little kid when it comes to that. So I am very much looking forward to spending the day tomorrow. It's just going to be Steve and I on Christmas Day. It has been like that for, I think, almost as long as we've been together. Because, except for if we go to visit family, my family out of town. Because we usually go to Steve's parents on Christmas Eve. So we will be going there later today to have a Christmas Eve dinner and share Christmas time with them today. And then tomorrow on Christmas Day, we will just get up in the morning and open our presents and spend the day together, probably watching Christmas movies and Christmas TV programs. But yeah, I like to spend Christmas Day like that. We have the opportunity to go back to my in-laws for Christmas Day, but we don't do that. Usually what happens is Steve's parents are his mom and his stepdad. So On Christmas Eve, we go over with Steve's family to spend the day. And then on Christmas Day, they have Steve's stepdad's kids and grandkids over. Now, we could always go over when they're there, too. It's not like we're trying to segregate the families. It's just that Steve and I prefer to have a nice, quiet Christmas, and spending the evening with mostly adults is more our idea of fun, instead of having all the little kids running around. So that is what we are planning on doing for today, Christmas Eve. And I am kind of starting a new tradition with Steve this year. I have not made Christmas cookies in a lot of years because all I do is eat them. So this year I decided that we are going to make sugar cookies tonight. When we get home from his parents' house, we're going to make some sugar cookies. Kind of like a for Santa type of thing. We're going to have sugar cookies and cocoa before we go to bed. We have actually been drinking a lot of Mexican cocoa these last couple of days. Last weekend, I was kind of wanting something sweet with this THM diet. I haven't been doing sugar, but I was just kind of wanting something a little sweet, and I found a box of Mexican chocolate in our cabinet, and I thought, you know what, I'd like to have some Mexican hot chocolate. So I whipped up a batch, and it was oh so good. And basically since then we've had a cup of hot chocolate every night. It's been delicious. So that is what we are going to do this evening, is we're going to bake cookies and drink Mexican hot chocolate. And I meant to have the box here to show you. Maybe I will take a picture. In fact, I have a picture of it on my phone. Do I have a picture of it on the... No, I don't. I will take a picture of it, and I'll post it. So if you would like to try some Mexican hot chocolate, you can try that as well. It's very yummy. And then that's after we go to Steve's parents. And then tomorrow, like I said, Steve and I will get up. We'll probably open presents first thing in the morning. I will probably be up before Steve. I usually am on Christmas Day because, honestly, I just like to get up. I turn the lights on in the tree, and I just sit with all the other lights turned off in the room, just the Christmas tree lights, and I sit and I just think about Christmases past and stuff like that. So once he gets up and wakes up, we will open presents, and then we will have our traditional waffles for Christmas morning breakfast. And that is actually a tradition that I have carried forward from my youth, when I was growing up. We would always go to my grandmother's house for Christmas morning and have waffles. And we actually use a recipe that was created by, I don't know if he's my great-grandfather or my great-great-grandfather, for waffles. And it's just good. You know, there's nothing, I mean, there's just nothing like it. You know, when you're used to having that traditional waffle recipe, that's the only waffle recipe I ever make. So we will have waffles for breakfast. Probably not anything else with it, just waffles. And I like to put walnuts in mine. That is also something that has been carried down through generations with my family. Steve does not like walnuts in his waffles. Crystal's going to come say hello. Sit down. And then we will just spend the day, like I said, watching Christmas movies, you know, playing with our gifts or toys or whatever it is that we have received for Christmas. And I will probably be doing some knitting, and we might actually be watching other programs too, because we haven't been watching the programs on the DVR. Can you lay down? I did want to mention this shawl that I'm wearing, I did not knit. It was knit for me by a friend of mine, and I don't know what the name of the shawl is. I forgot to look it up before I sat down. I will try and remember to look up her project page. I'm pretty sure she has it on her project page. I will try to look up on her project page what it's called so that you can check it out as well. Okay, so before I get to the knitting. And I have some knitting, very little knitting, but I do have some knitting, which is why I wanted to record today versus maybe Friday, because I want to rip out one of my projects. So I'm going to show you and explain why I'm going to rip it out. And I'm not going to rip it all out, but I'll explain when I get there. But before I do that, I want to show you my new Jamberry nails. Just for Christmas, I just put these on this morning. They are little Santa belts, and I thought they would be perfect for Christmas. I did receive my Sims and my Knitting Blooms custom wraps, but since these wraps, which I just received also recently, are specifically for Christmas, I thought I should do these first, because after Christmas I'm not going to want to have Santa belts as my wrap. So I decided to do these today, and then when these come off I will probably do the Sims. So that will be fun. But I am loving the Jamberries. What else? Oh, I did order the mini heater that you can use to put the nails on, or the wraps on, and I found it to be so much more, well, I guess so much quicker or easier to heat the wrap up. I was using my hairdryer originally, and the hairdryer had too hard of an air pressure, so it was hard to make sure that the Jamberry wrap did not get blown off of the orange stick. Is that what they're called, orange sticks? While I was heating it. So doing it with the little heater was so much better, because it was a hot air, and it was a very light pressure. So I really am glad that I ordered that. And those things are only $20. So if you are doing Jamberry wraps and you don't have the heater and you're struggling with the hairdryer, definitely get the little heater. They were back ordered, and they just came back in stock, obviously, because I ordered mine just after Thanksgiving, and I just got it a couple days ago because they were back ordered. But yeah, I think that's all of that. I don't have any other book reviews or anything else this week. I was going to do some drawings for Knit Your Stash, but I think I'm going to wait until next week, because I didn't do that, and honestly, I'm lazy today. So I will show you my projects. I think that's all I had on my list. I just wrote some quick notes, and I'm probably forgetting something, because I just wrote some quick notes just to kind of keep me on track. I really haven't worked on too much this week. Mostly the one project that I'm going to show you that I'm going to rip out, and I started a new project. So let me just show you my socks that I had on the needles last week. These are my stripy socks, my Regia, and I have, oh yeah, here's the markers. So I was actually almost in the same spot last week, and both of them are ready for the cuff. This one I've started the 2x2 ribbing on it already, and this one is ready to go. I have not started the ribbing on that one yet. But there they are. They are almost done. I didn't work on these as much as I wanted to. I was hoping to actually have them finished for this episode, and if I was recording on Friday, I probably would have them finished, but because I'm recording a little early, they're not done yet. Because I probably only do about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, maybe 2 inches of my ribbing, and that will go pretty quickly. So these socks will definitely be completed by the next episode. And let me get these back in the bag without twisting the yarn every which way. So yeah, not really exactly my go-to colors, but I don't know, I had them sitting out like I wanted to do those socks, so I thought I just need to do it. So that's that project. This is the project that I started to take with me to Christmas at my in-laws, and it's another pair of socks, and it's the yarn that I dyed. Let me actually show you the yarn in a ball first. So this is the yarn that I dyed, and it was the last ball of the ones that I had asked for suggestions as to which order I should knit them in. So this was the last one, and so as soon as this one's done, I'll probably pull out a few more. So let's hopefully that will focus. But there's that, and they're similar colors to the other yarn that I'm doing. I mean, the browns and the blues and greens, what have you. So, but I'm really liking how this is coming out. I mean, I loved it in the ball, but I am loving it even more in the knitting. I'm just hoping that it doesn't pool too much, because I don't really like my socks to pool, but it is what it is, you know, that's how it goes. So that's that. I do have 2 toes. Focus again. I do have 2 toes, so they're all set. I don't need 2 toes, but because I'm sure I won't get that much knitting done. I definitely won't get to a heel, but I have them ready if I need it. We are going to spend a few hours over at my in-laws, and I get anxious if I'm just sitting there, so I like to knit, and then I don't feel anxious and I don't feel like I have to leave. Nothing against my in-laws or anything, it's just that that's just the way I am. I get anxious if I am sitting idle and not doing anything, and it drives me crazy. So this way I can knit and enjoy their company and not feel anxious. I don't know why I feel that way. I think it's just my overactiveness. I cannot sit still most of the time. I have to be, you know, doing something. And when I'm at home, if I'm watching TV, I'm never idle actually, but if I am just watching TV, if I get anxious, I can get up and throw in a load of laundry or clean something or whatever, but you can't really do that when you're at somebody else's house. I mean, I'm sure my mother-in-law would love if I would just get up and clean something at her house. I'm sure she would not complain one bit, but yeah, that's kind of a little awkward. Anyway, so let me show you the project that I'm going to be ripping out, and probably the moment that I turn this recorder off and I put all my lights and stuff away, I will probably rip it out. And it's Ecuador. I'm just kicking myself. It was nothing to do with the pattern. It was me. Me. And honestly, it's not that bad, and I could leave it, but you know what? I'm only going to be ripping out about 3 days worth of knitting time. And honestly, I think I will be much happier. And actually, I might rip out the whole front and start the front again from scratch, because I'm pretty sure that I did not do the front exactly right from the start, and then I changed it and I liked the change better. And honestly, it's probably only an extra 24 rows that I might rip out. So I don't know, I will make that decision when I get to that point of ripping. I think it's fine. I might just rip out, I don't know, but I am going to rip it out. But this is how much I got done since the last episode. You see where that green marker is down there? That marker. I've done all of that. And yes, there are short rows, which is why you see kind of like an angle here. But the reason why I'm going to take this out is because of this. So you have short rows. And when I picked up the short rows, I wasn't really paying attention. So here are my short rows right here in this section. I wasn't really paying attention to how it was looking, and I probably should have noticed that it was not really the way it was supposed to look, but you see how it kind of looks like there's a line going through the row there. And honestly, when I first did it, it looked okay. And I thought, okay, that's fine. It is what it is. That's how it is. But then when I did the second short row, and this one, I will put my fingers, it's just a couple, it's a row down, 2 rows down from the needle edge. And you see there are no, and it's between my fingers here, there are no lines going through. It's because of how I picked up the wraps. So the first time what I did was I picked up the wrap and kind of put it on the needle, and I twisted the stitch. But it was still wrapped around the other stitch. So that's what kind of gave that bar that was still wrapped around that stitch and showing that line. That's what gave this bar. I don't know if how easy I'll be able to show you. But you see, like right here, that bar that's still wrapped around? That's because of how I picked up the stitch, picked up the bar. It's gonna refocus, maybe. How I picked up the bar. We're waiting. It's still not focused. There we go. I picked up the bar and I just dropped it on the stitch, and it was still wrapped around. The second time I did it, I kind of went through the bar, underneath the bar and the stitch at the same time, and knit them together. And that's why the second time the wrapped part falls kind of behind the initial stitch, and it looks so much better. And honestly, I could leave it and just make sure that when I get to the other side, I do the wraps the same way. But after seeing the second wrap, it looks so much better. And then I had a thought about dropping the stitches down and knitting them different and then taking them back up again. But then I thought, oh, well, but that's going to end up causing me problems with the wrap stitch that I had from the previous row. And honestly, I did not want to deal with it. I did not want to deal with that. I thought I would get more frustrated that way than just ripping it out and starting again. It's a really easy pattern to knit, and I'm not having any problems with it. And like I said, I mean, I did, what is it, 40, almost 40 rows, or a little bit more than 40, 43 rows in just a couple of days, and that's about what I'm going to be ripping out. So, yeah, plus I realized that, like I said, on the joining part, I was doing something a little bit wrong. On row 3, I was, or was it row 3? I think it was row 3. I was supposed to slip the last stitch and not knit it, but I was actually knitting it. So I think that was a little wrong. So yeah, I think I might end up just ripping the entire front part out. So I have just the rectangle part again, and I'm going to start over. I will be much happier if I do that. I know it sounds crazy, and it's a lot of work to be ripping out, but I think I will be much, much, much happier. So that's going to happen today. So I will have less to show you next week. I'm sure I'll be working on it a lot, but I will have less to show you next week on this project. But that's about it. Like I said, today we are off to my in-laws in a little bit, and we will enjoy the afternoon over there. But I did want to spend a little bit of time chatting with you guys today. I know it's another short episode, but everyone expressed how they would rather see my face than have no episode at all. Or, I mean, I could do a tutorial, but I just haven't really had the time, and I really haven't taken the time to put one together. I really need to start recording the entrelac. I've kind of got things in line to do the entrelac tutorial, It's just laziness, honestly. It's just laziness. But it will get done. It will get done. So I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas for those of you who are Christian, and for everyone else who celebrates other holidays, I hope you guys have a happy, happy holiday as well. And I will probably be talking to you next week on Christmas or New Year's Eve. Maybe New Year's Eve. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. I do have to work on New Year's Eve, but probably only a half a day. So I might come home from work on New Year's Eve and record the episode New Year's Eve. But again, you won't see it till Saturday, because I do like having those extra days in there to edit and what have you. And then I'll post on Saturday, and you guys will have a chance to watch it on Saturday or Sunday or the following week, whatever works for you. So again, happy holidays to everyone, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now. As always, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to contact me with your comments or suggestions, as I am always trying to improve the show. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube as Blooming Knitter. You can also find me on Plurk, Twitter, and Pinterest as Blooming Knitter, but I don't frequent those sites as often. I post show updates on Twitter and Facebook, and sometimes to Google Plus and Plurk. I am Miss Aerobics on MyFitnessPal and Fitbit. You can always find all the old episodes as well as links to the tutorials on the blog at www.knittingblooms.com. And you can also follow the show on Facebook. You can email me at knittingblooms@gmail.com, and show notes can be found at knittingblooms.com.